Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the unsung hero of wellness journeys, and that little guy's name is perspective. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. We're missing a piece of the puzzle. You start getting healthy and you just become a better person.
You need to start focusing more on the individual.
Wow, I don't know why, but every so often it feels like, man, I haven't done this for a while, but I think it's just because I do my interviews and I don't really get to talk about specific subjects that I want to talk about as frequently as I used to. So sometimes I feel like I haven't done this for a while, even though I'm putting out a video every week. Anyway, so today I want to talk about perspective. And the reason why I want to bring perspective up is because I feel like it's one of the most impactful changes that we will experience during our wellness journey, but also, like I said earlier, the unsung hero. It's one of those benefits that is so underrated and so devalued or undervalued, and I feel like no one brings any light to it. So we all know what perspective is, right? It's really your individual interpretation of a situation. I think most of us have probably had situations where we can understand how powerful perspective can be. There could be a situation that someone may view as negative happening right in front of you, but because of your perspective on it, maybe you can see a little bit of the big picture or whatever the case may be. You view it in a less than negative light, right? Maybe you don't view it as, man, this is the most amazing thing ever, but you can kind of find the silver lining in it. Oftentimes we say hindsight is 20/20. And when we're talking about perspective, we're really looking at how you perceive a situation. So the reason why people say hindsight is 20/20 is because when you're in a situation, sometimes it's hard to see the big picture, but then when you can go back and kind of review it in your mind, you can see that, well, it wasn't as bad as it seemed at the time, or you could see how it plays out, a year later or 2 years later, whatever the case may be. And you may even decide, even though it wasn't necessarily a good thing for you at that time, or at least that's not how you perceived it, in hindsight, it was the best thing for you. So we often talk about these types of, situations, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring to the forefront of the conversation is the fact that when you start fasting, in general, I would say, and not just fasting, but when you shift, your eating habits and you start driving in the lane of better wellness, right? Holistically, we're talking about mentally, spiritually, physically. Your perspective on life and certain situations and conversations and interactions and relationships, it changes. And I make a statement, if you guys ever listen at the beginning of my intro video, where I say, when you get healthier, you become a better person. And this is really like a foreshadowing of what I'm going to be talking about today, because as I have personally gotten healthy, I have noticed that the way I interact with individuals has also become more healthy. And it doesn't matter if the individual I'm interacting with is, still kind of in that toxic way of thinking, or if they are more of, a higher vibrating individual. It doesn't matter. My interactions with them based on my perspective have changed fundamentally. And it has been one of the biggest benefits. For example, we talked about, cortisol early on, in the early days of A Healthy Alternative, and how detrimental not just cortisol in general is, but it's when we're overproducing it, right? When anytime something is being overly stimulated, that's when it becomes out of balance and quote unquote detrimental. So when you're interacting with somebody and they have the ability to make your blood pressure rise because they're getting on your nerves, or they do something especially specifically to irk you. Some people know how to push your buttons and things like that. Your cortisol goes up. That cortisol causes stress on the body. Now, we all understand that, extended periods of time with elevated cortisol is bad. It can cause all sorts of disease. They call stress the silent killer. Okay, so we're talking about even early death can come from stress. That's why oftentimes you'll see, people who have significantly more stressful jobs than the average American, they die at an earlier age. So that's how powerful, stress and cortisol levels can be. So when you can shift your perspective, how you interact with the individual, even as simple as just once again, using myself for example, because I really like to talk about real life experiences. I'm considered an influencer, right? So I have this platform on YouTube and several other places, especially on YouTube in the comment section. People can be very, very ignorant. And I've had a handful of very ignorant comments in my day. But I find that because I am not vibrating at the same level as they are, and because I can often even read the pain in people's words, right? I don't respond to their comments the same way other individuals would. Now, I'm human, so sometimes people will say things that will really bother me. But what I've learned to do is literally take a couple seconds, breathe in, breathe out, and then remember that this individual isn't really upset at me, really doesn't know me, doesn't have an issue with me. They're upset with their own life. They're upset with, how they feel in their skin. Their self-confidence is low and whatever. And they're projecting that on me through this interaction. And because I can have that perspective, instead of something that a person on YouTube says being able to ruin my entire day, I can literally take it in that moment, digest it, completely flesh it out, respond in a manner that is proactive versus reactive, and then get on with my day. Whereas old Chris would have been pissed all day. He probably would have been telling his friends and family about what some crazy person said or did. And, that energy, that negative energy I would have carried around with me all day long. And, maybe I never would have actually truthfully released it. Because oftentimes when those sorts of situations happen, we're not actually dealing with it. We're not addressing it. We're not releasing it. We're holding it in. We're compartmentalizing it, and we're forgetting about it. And then what that in turn does is it causes you to store negative energy, which is just imbalance. It's literally just imbalance, and we don't know about the tools, how we can kind of rebalance ourselves, or we're not even aware of it to even try. Like, we don't even know that's a thing. And so we carry around all this negative energy, and then we start having physical ailments. That is a real thing. A lot of people think it's woo-woo and, that doesn't make sense, and that's not scientifically sound. Well, I will agree to an extent that it's often not proven by modern science. But that's not because it doesn't exist. That's because modern science is flawed. And the way that they look at the body is like, you have the physical part and then you have the energetic part or whatever. And they're two separate parts. And the energetic part for them is so hard to quantify, they just discard it as if it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because we're energetic creatures. We get most of our energy and resource from the sun. And I mentioned this before, even if it's through supplementation of eating, plants and things like that, which absorbed energy from the sun, we are energetic creatures. So that is an important part. And so I just wanted to bring to the forefront of the conversation the fact that, yes, we're going to see weight loss. Yes, we're going to see, our hair turn from gray to black. Yes, we're going to see the wrinkles go away. All of these amazing physical benefits, but we're also going to get insight, and we're going to be able to shift our perspective and shift how we interact with our loved ones or just random people on YouTube. And that in turn will also perpetuate healthy thinking and healthy interactions. And then from that point, the sky's the limit. I've talked before about my financial success since I've changed my dietary habits. No one ever correlates financial success with dietary habits. I've had several conversations with individuals via, consulting, where they have told me that because of their weight or because of how uncomfortable they are around other individuals, they know for a fact that they have missed out on financial opportunities, whether it's a speaking engagement because they feel uncomfortable being in front of large groups of people or people in general, or whether it's just not really fully comprehending, what the task that they're being asked to perform because of brain fog. I don't think we really take the time to quantify how that might affect our potential growth, whether it's, we work for somebody or where we have a business. One of the things that I have learned is that I am better equipped to make financial decisions because I think more clearly. A lot of my decisions aren't reactionary. I'm proactive. I'm not as emotional with some of the decisions that I make, whereas I may have been in the past. Relationships, that's a really good kind of topic to touch on. When you're in a relationship with somebody and you're head over heels for that person, you will blow money like it's going out of style on that individual. What I have found is as I've become healthier and I can think more clearly, I have a better grip on my emotions and I don't make really poor decisions like that anymore. Not to say that it's, bad to spoil your mate or anything like that. I think that's actually good. I think we should, but not to our detriment, right? Even when we talk about, how we spend money for different holidays and things. Because of this wellness journey, once again, this is my personal outlook and things I'm sharing with you. But because of this wellness journey, I've been able to see where, that's not a smart decision for me to go and spend $2,000 on Christmas gifts and things of that nature for a season. I found better ways to show the individuals in my life that I love them without having to do the traditional thing and go out and run up a whole bunch of credit cards, spending money, flying here and there and taking these trips and spending all this money and buying all this jewelry. So I'm just trying to stir the pot a little bit. I know we talk a lot about fasting. I know we talk about, how to reverse disease a lot, but perspective and being able to operate in this reality at a higher level than other people, it really gives you a leg up to the competition because you have better control over your emotions. You have better decision-making skills. You can think more clearly. You can process quicker. And this all affects us in many different ways, but once again, all positive. And it's all based on, perspective oftentimes. We don't have the perspective because our judgment is clouded by all these other things. You remove those things, you get an amazing outlook on life. So I really just wanted to share that with you all because it's something that's been very impactful for me. And I feel like, I've been on this journey a lot longer than some of you and a lot less long than some of you. So I do my best to update in real time and share these sorts of insights because I think it's very, very important. And I think it's overlooked way too often. I want to let you all know that I have been continuing to work on the book. I'm going to be pre-selling the book probably in about a week or so. Maybe about 10 days, I'll be opening the book up for pre-sale. I'm extremely excited about this. A lot of care and thought has been put into it. I hope you guys enjoy the intimate details that I've included, not just in the actual text, but the well thought out formatting of the book and all the other elements that are involved. And I really welcome any feedback. I really do want you all to support me on this. It's my first attempt of being a published author. And so I'm open to everything that kind of comes from putting myself into this arena, I really, really would appreciate a strong support on this particular project. So I'm going to put the book on pre-sale, like I said, probably in about a week or so, maybe 10 days. I'll announce it. And everybody who's been waiting for it, everybody who's been interested, please go get your pre-sale. And then when you do get the book and you have opportunity to consume it, I'm going to be asking everybody to leave comments. I really want to, I want the world to be able to see what this movement is all about. And hopefully my goal is to, get the book to a place where it can rank high enough to where people who aren't in our community necessarily will be prompted to want to read it and, see what this whole wellness thing is about, this whole fasting thing is about, and building the community much bigger and stronger. And of course, continuing to do what we've been doing and grow. And we've got so many amazing things that's going to be rolling out in the future. I'm excited, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy this ride with me. If you liked this video, please do not forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I will see you all next time.